ask yourself the question of where you should aim from a tree stand while you're bow hunting? A lot of hunters have. You know, it's a question of, should I aim high? Should I aim low? Should I put my pin dead on where I want to hit? You know, does it matter how fast my bow is? Does it matter how heavy or how light my arrows are? All of these are great questions that, you know, every bow hunter wants answered. And depending on who you ask, you're going to get a different answer every time. Well, I'm going to introduce you to an app that's going to answer these questions and more. And if you stick around, I'll give you a bonus tip on how to use this app to make sure that your setup is the most efficient to take whatever animal that you're hunting at that particular time. Before I get too far into the video, if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. And don't forget to subscribe and make sure that you click the bell icon so that you're notified when new content is uploaded. Let's jump right into the video. All right, so this is the Bow Hunt Simulator. Sounds like a video game, but it's not. So the title of this app is a little bit deceiving if you go looking for it in the App Store or Google Play. Matter of fact, that's a complaint that the developer has had, that the game's not fun enough. It's not a game, it's designed for hunters. And it's a great tool for you to have in your toolbox to understand deer anatomy and where your arrow is hitting at, you know, depending on what height you're at from your tree stand and all that good stuff. So we're going to jump right into this. This is the main settings area of the app. And you can see in here that you can select nature environment, which is what you were looking at on the screen before. I selected this. Looks like you're in the woods. If you deselect that, it's a gray flat background. This is used to, you know, cycle the pose. You can adjust the yardage from 15 to 80 yards. You can adjust the wind. If it's negative, it's going to cause your arrow to drift to the left. If it's positive, it's going to drift to the right. You can select your distance to the animal, the maximum distance that you want to have. You can also select the elevation of your tree stand from 1 foot to 60 feet. And then you can select the degree of rotation of the animal. So I'll show you here with that. When you move this, you can see that it causes the animal to turn. And then that is how that will show up in the simulator. Distance is how far it will be away, so I set that at 40 yards because I won't take a shot in the woods over 40 yards. So, and I normally hunt from 20 feet. So this is set up just like I would be hunting in the woods. So the next tab that we'll select is Select Animal, and here you can go in and you can choose what animal that you want to have, whether it's elk, white-tailed deer, wild boar, roe, deer, buck, coyote, or turkey, tom or a hen. And then if you select those, it'll change. You see there it changed to an elk, change it to a boar, change it to a tom, change it to a hen, whatever. We'll select white-tailed deer because that's what I'm normally hunting, but you can pick whatever you want on that. This next tab that we will select will be the Bose Setup, and that's probably one of the most important ones in here, because you see you have three choices up here: compound, recurve, or calculator. And I'm going to talk about the calculator in a little bit. This is the bonus tip that I was talking about in the beginning of the video. So this is set up for my bow. I have shot it through a chronograph, so I know it shoots 270 feet a second. With the arrows that I'm shooting, I've got a 580 grain arrow. It's a normal size arrow. That's the diameter. You can change that to normal light, thick, you know, whatever matches your arrow that you're shooting. You can also have 4 pins that you can use, 20, 30, 40, 50 yards, and you can change those. I only shoot 3 pins on my bow, so mine's set to 20, 30, 40, just like I would shoot on my bow. All right, so we're back to the main screen. I'll show you a couple things on here real quick. You can select static random, and I'm just going to leave it there because it's a nice close-up of the deer, and you can kind of see a little bit better. So the distance, if you look up the top, it's 20-yard shot. When I draw the bow back and I put my 20-yard pin on this deer, I can turn the vitals on, and I can also turn on string jump. So I know that from this distance that the deer is not going to jump the string, and my pin is right on the heart. So if I release the arrow, you can see that I got the top of the heart, the left lung, and the right lung. It's displayed down there in the lower right part of the screen. Now if I go down to inspect and click on that, it shows me where the arrow went through the deer. And you can see that I got the, I said the top of the heart, but I actually got the back of the heart and the back of both lungs. And this rotates 360 degrees, and you can view it from the top down, or you can view it from the bottom, and then you can view it from each side. But this gives you a great visual of where the vitals are on the deer and where your arrow passed through, whether you would strike any bone or it would be a clean, efficient shot. So I think this is a great tool for you to use to be able to visualize what your arrow is doing when you release it from your bow. And you can set this up to do all kinds of different scenarios that you just can't replicate in your backyard. That's why this is such a great tool, I think, to have. Finally, as a bonus, I want to show you something that you can do with this that is available if you can't go shoot your bow through a chronograph and find out exactly what's going on. This will give you a ballpark idea just by inputting some information from your setup. So if you input the IBO rating of your bow, what your draw length is, your draw weight, draw weight up here, draw length down here, your arrow weight, including any weight on the string. So if you have like a peep sight, if you have string silencers, things like that, that's going to affect the speed of the bow. And then the arrow length and the center of gravity from the nock. So measuring from the nock to where that arrow balances. And then you put this in, and then it'll give you your bow speed in feet per second. It'll give you the kinetic energy generated by the arrow at impact, the momentum, and the FOC percentage of your arrow. So there's some great information that's available to you just by putting in some simple figures based on your bow and your own setup. So I think this is a great little bonus feature of this app. You don't have to go out and shoot through a chronograph to see this stuff. You can just put numbers in, and it'll give you a ballpark idea of where you're at. In this video, I've introduced you to the bow hunt simulator. I hope that if you try this out, that you'll find that the app was helpful for you. I think it's a great tool to add to your toolbox to be able to practice those, shots that we can't practice at home. And it really gives you a good indication of where you're going to hit the animal and whether your shot is effective in getting into the vitals or not. If you like the video, be sure to click the like button. It helps the channel out. And don't forget to subscribe. And again, make sure you click that bell icon so that you get notified when new content is uploaded. And share this with other hunters and other friends if you think it would be helpful for them. Don't forget to get out and celebrate the outdoors, and we'll see you in the next video.